Stephen, what's your overall assessment of the performance tonight?
There was a lot of good things. There was a little bit of naivety in certain aspects of our defending, which is natural with young players. But I was also really pleased with the improvements of some of our players. You know, I just spoke with Shola Amiobi there, you know, regarding Elias, and he was just commenting that that's as hard as he's ever seen him work. He worked tirelessly tonight, and that's real improvement in the kid since he's come in here. You know, I've had a couple of good conversations with him. I've spoke to him about a number of things, and for me, his response has been excellent. So that was really encouraging. The likes of Hallam Hope, I thought his attitude was really good tonight. I had no complaints about the attitude of the group tonight. They all worked really hard. But we just showed naivety in our defending, because we didn't actually need to defend that many moments. But we lost a couple of goals just through inexperience. But it's been a really good learning curve for our young players. And, you know, they've taken a great deal out of tonight's game.
In terms of those players that have been on the fringe, you've had complaints about them in the bounce games. Is this a step up from that?
Well, that's exactly it. You know, if you'd watched quite a number of the players that played tonight at Hartlepool and at Sunderland, you would have almost said it was unrecognisable from those games tonight, the way they worked and the way they went about things. So we're doing a lot of work with them in the afternoons, these young players. We're tirelessly trying to improve them, and the encouraging thing for me was tonight that we've seen improvement. There's a lot more to come, but I'm pleased with the progress of some of them.
In terms of players knocking on the door, does tonight help with that, or is there more that you need to see?
Well, I think for some players tonight, they did themselves real justice tonight. You know, I thought there was some really good performances. You know, as I said, Hallam captained the team tonight. I thought his attitude was absolutely first class. He scored a terrific goal. You know, again, the likes of Lofts scored tonight. Elias really kicked on. So, you know, I was really impressed with that, you know, and I was really pleased with those aspects. Young Jared did some terrific things tonight for 17-year-old. There was one or two moments that he needs to tidy up on, but we're talking about a kid here, and a kid that I have real hope for. But you experience tonight, you move on from tonight and you learn from tonight. So for the likes of him, these are really important games. We don't have a reserve team, and for players like him to develop in the manner that we want them to, these games are vitally important.
Hallam off the mark, what could that mean for him?
It means that he'll get confidence, but I think it wasn't just his goal. I think his all-round play, his attitude to the game was a real example, and I was really pleased with him tonight.
People will look at it being a Wolves in outside of the performance tonight. They'll look at the result, and it's Wolves under 21. Do you have to defend the fact that we've lost that game tonight?
I don't like to lose any game, but what I'll say is, you know, with the exception of one or two players, probably the age of the group was very similar. That's the truth. I've looked at their squad, I looked at the age of the squad in comparison to ours. Many of the ages are very similar, bar one or two. So in that respect, no. And these types of clubs can spend enormous amounts of money on their young players. We have to remember that. It's not the Wolves of 10 years ago. They're going out, and if you look at the squad and look at their young players, how many of them are playing with their national teams at younger levels, it's full of that. So in terms of losing, I don't like to lose a game. But tonight, the important thing for me was I've seen real improvement in quite a lot of our younger players. And yes, I understand in certain aspects, like the goals we lost, we showed naivety. But that's natural with the age of some of the young players. And I think all in all, a really good exercise for us tonight.
And those goals conceded, is that a big learning curve for the boys who were out on the pitch tonight?
Of course it is. You know, I was a young centre-back myself. I know how you grow with experience, and I know how you improve with games. They'll only improve with games. You know, there's a lot of unseen work done by my staff and myself with these young players in the afternoons and trying to improve them. And we get satisfaction seeing them improve. And it will take time. It doesn't happen overnight, but it will take time. But we're seeing improvement, and that's really pleasing.
Is it confidence as well that these boys need, and that's what you get by playing games like this?
Confidence, experience, game time, all of those things. That's what you need. And they'll only improve by playing games, trust me on that.
You don't seem surprised by the level of play from a team like Wolves under 21. Is that what these setups are about now?
Yeah, these clubs have got terrific young players, but we've got young players that I have hope for. We've got a young squad, and we have to work hard to improve them. I've said this time and time again, it's my job to improve them. And the good thing for me is that from the first 2 games that the young players have played to this game, I've seen real improvement.
What are you thinking 2 minutes after half time? You've just done your team talk, wherever's said is said, and there's a penalty, and we're behind again.
Again, it's a learning curve for our young players. That's what it is. And we only learn by making mistakes and understanding how to improve from them. You know, I was a young centre-back myself, as I've said, and I made a million mistakes. But as long as you learn from them, that's the important thing.
How much of a tool can you use the playback of the game, for example, with the boys who were out there tonight?
Of course, I think it's a really important aspect that we show them and review a lot of the work. But there was a lot of good work. You know, and for 30 minutes I thought Jared's performance was excellent for one so young. You know, for a 17-year-old, I thought he was very aggressive with his head. We don't see that in a lot of young players. Very competitive. So he did some really good things as well tonight, and that's pleased me as well.
It sounds like you enjoy watching the boys take on a contest like this.
No, very much so. You know, I know where we are as a club. I know what we're trying to do. And I'm realistic. I'm realistic about where we are. And my job is to keep driving the group, keep improving the group. And if I can see that, then I know things will happen. And I'm seeing that.
It's that strength in depth you're talking about, isn't it? So you're going to have to work hard to create almost that strength in depth that you're after.
Of course. That's the job. If I didn't work hard with these players and I didn't see them improving, then I can accept certain aspects. But we work hard with them, tirelessly with them. So, you know, when I see them improving game by game, I take a lot of satisfaction. I do my staff with that, and we'll continue to do that.
Immediately switch focus to Oldham at the weekend?
Yes, immediately. Like tomorrow morning, we'll start, you know, zooming in on them. Another important game. You know, we changed. I think we made 8 changes tonight. You know, a lot of our players have played a lot of football thus far. And I felt it was only right not to exhaust them again before Saturday's game.
Another club that comes with a new manager, that's a test in itself.
Yeah, we played Stevenage several weeks ago and they had a new manager, and you know, we managed to get the correct result. We obviously want to get back to winning ways here at Brunton Park, and we'll work hard over the coming days to do that.
That's a big thing, isn't it? We want to be doing it here for our fans, whatever competition it is.
Of course. You know, and I said after the game at the weekend, you know, where we gave a good performance and showed the right attitude, that if we continue to do that, the supporters will show their appreciation as they did. So again, we have to do that on Saturday. We have to go about things and we have to play with an energy that the supporters appreciate. And
the attendance tonight is a reflection of how the fans feel about this competition. It's a competition that's going to have to work hard to get the fans interested in it.
Yeah, you know, but this club's been at several finals and brought terrific support. And I said to the players before that although yes, this is an opportunity for players to improve, we still want to win it, we still want to progress. So, you know, I'm disappointed that we didn't manage to win, but a lot of good things.
It's a group. So we've got Blackpool and Morecambe to come, so we'll be focusing on doing that properly so that we can progress.
Of course. But as I said, it's games that I think that we need to give certain players the opportunity to play in if they're going to progress, and that's what we intend to do.
Thanks for your time.